Her day starts at 4:30 a.m. while most homes are still wrapped in sleep. Her child never slept through the night, so it's likely going to be an unpredictable morning. Meltdowns or a silence so heavy it presses on the chest, head, and shoulders. School is never guaranteed because they are unequipped, unwilling, or simply too expensive for children with autism. So she becomes a teacher, therapist, and minder. By month's end, the bills arrive. Speech therapy, music lessons, all paid out of pocket. Many mothers quit their jobs because care is full-time. Income shrinks, expenses rise. Sex left the bedroom long ago. She explains her child endlessly to relatives, neighbors, teachers, even strangers. She feels intrusive questions. Why is he not talking? At night, fear creeps in. Who will care for my child when I'm gone? Will any system exist to protect him? Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan took the first step by proposing the National Center for Autism Establishment Bill 2025, which passed its first reading on October 30, 2025. According to a 2014 prevalence study, 2.3% of Nigerian families are affected by autism spectrum disorder. What will this bill mean for them? That mom in Ekiti, Zungeru, or Zobolo, or Nembe trying to understand her neurodivergent son. Will it ease the burden of families that pay twice the tuition other normal kids are paying? Will it protect parents from predatory school owners, therapists who exploit desperation? The bill proposes a national center for autism in Abuja and 6 zonal centers in Bauchi, Kaduna, Enugu, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, and the North Central, offering free early screening, specialized training for educators, therapists, better school options, and public awareness to reduce stigma. This definitely sounds like El Dorado. May it come to pass. Did I hear you say amen to that?
Amen.
Autism does not disappear, but the pain of carrying it alone can. For this mother and her son, an autism policy should not just be paperwork. It should bring relief and dignity. It should be the difference between merely surviving and thriving despite the burden of autism.
I just want to say that the reason why this is very important is it's very expensive to take care of a child with special needs.
Yeah.
I mean, we as parents started the therapy for my son around 2010. And even at that time, the cost was in the millions. 2010.
Yeah.
So I shudder to imagine
what it is now.
What parents are going through trying to manage these children. It's expensive. The reality is that a lot of parents can't afford it.
Yeah.
So it becomes a financial and economic subject. And the reason why they can't afford it is because the number of therapists and special schools that are to attend to them are few. So it's a demand and supply issue.
And none is in the public. There are no public schools, actually.
There are no public schools. So what we feel that's very important is that there has to be some intervention, government intervention, to train therapists, to train shadows or people, caregivers for them. And in doing this, the cost of intervention will reduce. Okay? And at the same time also, parents themselves, who are also very much impacted, will also have relief. Yeah.
We need to do more than just policies. We need to create awareness and sensitization. I've seen educated people with special needs child go the spiritual route. They'll say, oh, it's a spiritual attack. Yeah. We see different instances, and these are exposed to educated, not one, not two. And this stems from inadequate awareness and sensitization. First of all, acknowledging it for what it is. It's okay to be different. You have a child who is different. Yeah. It's not any village people who is attacking you or not. And we need to implore the National Assembly to facilitate a swift passing of the said bill. And kudos to Senator Natasha.
There are just a lot happening in Nigeria at the same time that we still have to touch on everything. So thank you. And I actually like that you started the response to the conversation, because I feel like there are certain issues that when it comes up, you allow people who understand it and people who have gone through it to speak from their perspective while we sort of add to whatever it is and also help for you to come forward. Because in Nigeria, even we that don't have special needs, have they taken care of our needs? Do you understand where I'm coming from? You know, so big kudos to
expensive.
really you think, but kudos to Senator Natasha, like we've said, and we hope that her colleagues would push this forward too and ensure that it's part of the bills that are being passed swiftly so that things can begin to happen. And even when it is passed, we want to also see it being adopted across the zone. I mean, she talked about national center and then the zonal centers, free early screening, better school options, public awareness. Those are what we're advocating for this special needs children and also the parents, because again, it's nobody's fault, right? But when we're creating a place for equity, which is what I always love to talk about, not equality, then everybody has to be given an environment to be able to thrive. They are actually very amazing, sound people, right? And they're very intelligent. So we need to do something and we need to do it fast.
There are just a few things that would be nice to add. Oftentimes when we talk about additional needs, not an absolute, but generally, it's usually her, mother, just like your advocacy.
And sorry, I thought you guys were going to ask me, why are you talking about moms?
Because mothers generally are the primary caregiver.
So,
I'll tell you.
moms, so knowing that something like this takes a toll, I think we need that inclusion of more fathers to support, because even the people that I see, oftentimes, they're just always women.
Yes.
When I go for conferences, when I go, I've done training, the room is full of women.
Women?
I've seen cases where the man left the marriage because of
the
child.
We just need to let more men understand that this is a challenging situation and they need to be involved in it. Elsie, we all have special needs, though. All of us. Everyone has, but that's a separate conversation. I also want to say that people call some children normal children. So we need to correct that as terminology, because all children, irrespective of their additional need, they are all normal children. They have a world that they live in, and in their world is complete. That is their own world. I worry for a lot of families that have children with additional needs. As he said, they are so, the costs
burden is high.
It's a lot. Now, we live in a country where education is a problem for neurotypical individuals. Now we're talking about neurodiverse individuals. Teacher training is a problem in Nigeria, even for neurotypical people. So when you talk about neurodiversity, you don't even have skilled people. You'll find that they still lock people up in 2025. They will still leave the child, even in schools, with just a nanny. And there's exclusion going on in the classroom because it is not understood. So that awareness is actually key. So schools are our training centers. I've tried to do some courses in Nigeria. It just doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So that's the reality. Another thing that I would like to recommend is, because this is called an autism center. This is proposed autism center. Autism is a spectrum. Developmental needs, neurodivergence is beyond autism. Yeah. We have Tourette's syndrome, ADHD. Sure. There are so many. Yeah. Conduct disorder, intellectual, speech, language delays, mood disorders, countless. We cannot have a center for each one. So I would recommend National Autism and Neurodevelopmental Center so that we can begin to address this on a larger scale. And then, in my experience, I find that a lot of people, the minute they don't understand the child, they will say the child has autism. When you go for assessments, if you go to someone that has dyslexia, it's a so-called dyslexia expert, they will say the child has dyslexia. If it's a global issue, they will say, oh, it's global. So, whilst it's expensive, I still tell parents, please, go to more than one person. And when you go to the second person, don't tell them you've gone to anybody else. This is for people that can even afford it.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine what people are going through.
Yeah.
So a step in the right direction is better than nothing.
Yes.
So I commend that something is at least
Conversations
these conversations are happening. Thank you.
Policy is meant to address the challenges of real lives and make the necessary difference, or they are just rituals and suggestions, as some have said.